I have returned once again today to do another stream of Banana Fish. Good to go, we're good to go, we're good to go. Yeah, we're good to go. So yes, today actually I'll cover episode 17 of Banana Fish. And as we know, we kind of ended on more of like kind of one of those notes of, oh boy, kind of notes, actually, more I think about it, because it's just kind of like, I want this to happen right now. I want this to happen. I want him to find him and actually just be happy together, okay? Have a happy ending, because this show constantly just makes me want to go, he won't have a happy ending, will he? But yeah, we actually ended on the fact of Ash looking for AG, so we might actually get a reunion this week. We actually might get a reunion of the century. Like, I don't even know how to feel. My emotions might overwhelm me, actually, a little bit, because it's been quite a while since they've been kind of apart, really, when you think about it. It's one of those things you kind of like, Christ, kind of makes you go a little bit as well at the same time. Gets you right in the feels, actually. Gets you right in the feels. For good reason, because they belong together. They're really freaking cute together, and actually just work so well together. Even more, especially now, since I said beforehand, the walls between them are broken completely. So it's one of those things that you kind of like, yeah, I want to see them together. I want to see them back together and actually be cute together again. And also, surprisingly, last week's episode actually was kind of a Calm Before the Storm episode, really, when you think about it, because it kind of had that makings of what would be a Calm Before the Storm episode, but also had a lot of action in it, which actually was kind of inherently a really strange kind of feeling I had during an episode. I was like, this is oddly like kind of Calm Before the Storm. More I think about it. So anyway, yeah, it's actually put on Twitter, actually gone live, episode 17, before my brain absolutely forgets that. So, on Twitter we go. So, gone live for Banana Fish, episode 17. And away we go. Away we go. So anyways, actually let's put this Amazon link into full screen and let's get a show on the road. So in 3, 2, 1, let's actually start this thing absolutely now. Yeah, it was kind of a neat episode last week, to think about it. It was actually it was oddly kind of one of those episodes you would actually associate with Calm Before the Storm. Especially even more so as time goes on as well. It has that kind of feeling towards it. Ooh! Look at him, he's so beautiful. Damn. Oh, my beautiful boy, so hurt my soul like this. So hurt my soul like this. Oh. Oh. My heart fills with such... I don't even know the words at this point. I can't even find an accurate word to describe my feeling, but it's nice to actually have a tender hug like that. They hug each other back as well. It's just gets you right there. Gets you right there. My two boys. My two boys. It's just really nice for him to hug him back as well, because it kind of gives you that reassurance that he actually doesn't really trust him in some ways when you think about it. It's a very subtle thing to do, just have a hug back, because if it had it been earlier in the series, it might not have been that hug back, it might just been AG hugging him instead, and then Ash kind of being like a bit distance towards the whole entire thing. But considering what's happened in the show so far, considering Core 2, it kind of doesn't very feel like as if it's actually hitting a cathartic moment with their relationship, and it actually does really feel genuine, that hug. It's sort of quite kind of in a way hostile, but it's one of those things that it can in theory be like that because of what's really happened in the whole entire show so far. There's always going to be a slight bit of hostility towards every single character in the show. So it's one of those things, but it's actually kind of nice in on that tender moment, in a way. It just tells you a little bit that it's going to hit a cathartic moment of their relationship as time goes on. There's also be another coming before the storm episode as well, much like last week's episode. We must find out. This episode also will deal with Lee's character as well, which actually is kind of neat because, again, he's one of those characters you really just can't pinpoint just yet. So any time with him actually is quite vital at this point. Damn. Absolutely damn. Hello. This is what I wanted. My eyes will fill up with tears in a minute. He's so freaking adorable. I can't help it. He's so adorable. It's been so long. I could cry right now. My eyes will fill up with tears in a minute. Today very tired, but other than that, I'm quite fine. How are you? That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm glad. Hello, how's it going? It's also still very neat actually getting the whole entire thing about banana fish as well. It's actually come back to the forefront of the whole entire narrative. After the stream, if you want to, I guess. So yeah, I mean, Lee's character is quite interesting when you think about it. He's one of those characters that, as Ash kind of says, you just really can't pinpoint him. And it's true as time goes on. He's one of those characters whose kind of alliance just kind of drifts. And it's one of those things you kind of wonder, where does he kind of fall? It's the idea of power with him, but then what else is there with him as well? Oh, oh, is that a vital character? Is that a vital character that they're going to show us later on? Oh. He's so adorable. He's so adorable. It makes me cry how adorable this boy is. This boy. This boy. I will say it once again, I like how the show's structured itself now, because it's actually really freaking neat how they're actually doing each character as time goes on. It's really kind of cool how they're doing it right now. That was a really effective scene, actually, I must say. It's really effective how they did that. It didn't show you anything, it just showed you it's Lee's perspective and just the shots going off. That was a very, that was quite a neat thing to do. Because it doesn't detract from the overall emotion behind it, because you can still, it carries even more emotion because you can see his face, the whole entire thing, but the actual other person. It's quite a neat thing to do, actually. Oh. Oh. He's so adorable. He's so cute. He's so cute. Woo! Oh. Well, there we go. Episode 17 of Banana Fish. Oh my god. That ending. It was just like, bam! It was like, whoa! It was one of those endings that kind of paints this whole entire picture as as more than two enemies technically in this show at this very one point. Because it was Dino, it was Arthur. Arthur's now gone. You had Lee kind of in the background, possibly maybe being an enemy, you just didn't really know just yet. And now you kind of have this idea that you have Blanca, you have possibly Lee, I still really don't know, I can't really pinpoint his character just yet, and also Dino at the exact same time. So now it's three enemies at this point. It's actually kind of gone back to the three enemy kind of structure it had beforehand. It's one of those it's also one of those kind of endings that kind of hints at the backstory behind Ash's character, because it kind of makes you wonder, okay, so what was the history behind with him and Blanca as well? It's actually kind of very interesting. I was like, okay, so you have that. So what does that all lead to? What's gonna happen if they confront each other? I believe there's a shot in the opening where it actually has both of them there, when it actually kind of cuts to Dino afterwards. So it's one of those ones. I like the fact that actually we have an enemy who's kind of very new to the whole entirety of the show, and also to Ash. Possibly, maybe you still really don't know if you can actually call him an enemy at this point. It's a very interesting concept, old Lee's character. But you have a character who's otherwise kind of very much involved with Ash's character, an enemy who's actually very much involved with him, and you have the past kind of coming back. It's actually kind of a neat thing to actually kind of structure the show like that, kind of having a character from the past come back, a past revisited in some way. Him trying to escape the past, but in theory now he can't even more so because he has a character from the past come back. Once again, it's a really neat kind of structure to actually have. It kind of makes you wonder, okay, is there a way actually kind of free escape? Because there clearly isn't. There clearly isn't a way for him to get out of this, because there's always going to be one character to come back and actually kind of just mess up his whole entire day. And in this case, we actually have a character actually does in theory do that. So it's actually kind of interesting to see where this all happens to go towards, especially now because we're heading into the kind of final 8 weeks, I believe, of the show now at this point. So it's actually kind of interesting to see where this actual show goes in the next 8 weeks. So we'll have to see what happens there, but I actually kind of like how they structure the show now, because you had that whole entire idea of him escaping somewhat the past, but now you have the past revisited in some other case, kind of in the dark, really, because he doesn't really know just who it could in theory be. He kind of has an inkling? Is it inkling? I think that's how you pronounce the word. An inkling who it could in theory be, but you don't know just yet, and I actually quite like that. So in that front, it's actually really freaking well done. But yeah, I like the whole show, how it structured its characters in this episode, because you had on the one half, you had AG and Ash kind of just being very freaking cute together. Actually was kind of nice, actually kind of see them kind of reunite, actually kind of just have this little bit of downtime. Granted, that actually was very short-lived because you have the whole entire idea of the past coming back, but it's actually kind of nice to actually have that little bit of downtime. But then you had Lee's character kind of in the background in some capacity, and also kind of then overthrown the whole entire scene, and also then commanding the whole entire episode itself. And I actually quite like that about the episode as well, because you actually had Lee command the whole entire episode in his own way, and that makes you kind of wonder what's going to happen with his character. Is he going to be this adversary for Ash? You just don't know just yet. It's kind of one of those. He's a character, as Ash says, you really just can't, during the stream, you really can't pinpoint him, because he's working with characters you kind of like, oh god, why would you work with him? And he actually is doing things that makes him to be an antagonist, but you don't know what this all kind of leads towards. It kind of leads for him to actually gain the power, gain the actual lineage itself for himself, but at the same time, you don't really know where it all leads to in the sense of his character at the end of the show. It's one of those kind of neat things his character does in theory have. He's a very kind of mysterious character, especially more so now, because he's allying himself with characters you don't know, but to what end? You don't know where it's going to lead to. And I actually quite like that about his episode as well, because it's one of those things that you kind of like, yes, this is actually quite shocking, but you kind of at the same time wonder, is there a kind of a bigger motive behind Lee's character? Might not in theory be. I might be overanalyzing everything here, but in theory it kind of seems as if he's not a one-trick kind of character. He's very much a character that actually has a lot more tricks behind him than what he actually leads on to actually kind of show. It's one of those ones it's one of those characters I actually like about. It's one of those character traits I actually like about him. Is that about him? So it's one of those things I actually wonder, where does his character all lead to? What actually happens in the end? Will he in theory kind of work with Dino, but in the theory then overthrow him completely? You just don't know. That's the thing about his character. What I like about him, you just don't know. You don't know. But really, the main star of the show, the main kind of thing, I was like, yeah, it's actually just kind of adorable. It was Ash and AJ. I thought, just it makes you. It kind of makes your emotions overwhelmed, because it's one of those moments that makes you kind of go, yeah, I wanted to see this. I want to see them back together. I want to see them just be cute, be this kind of couple in a way. And it's actually kind of neat to see him just kind of have this downtime. It was kind of. The show and its episode is very much a calm before the storm, also a storm at the same time. It's like what you would get if you had rain, but you know the storm's coming. Like, you know the thunder's coming. You can hear the thunder behind it. So that's what this episode was kind of like. You had the sun shine, you had the rain, you had the thunderstorm at the end. I actually quite like that. It was really neatly structured, because you had the sunshine and rainbow section, but you also had like, oh god section as well. So in that regard, it's actually kind of neatly structured. I thought it was actually kind of brilliantly structured in a way. It was one of those episodes I really didn't really like, and it was actually kind of nice. It actually had that hug, as I said during the stream itself. The hug itself was very kind of vital for to see the actual development in their relationship. Technically, when you think about it, because if it happened to be episode 10 or earlier, if AJ went to hug Ash, would he in theory hug him back? You don't know. Would the hug actually have that sentimentality to it? You don't know. It's one of those things that you can see the events of how much they influence both characters, that they actually now in theory just have this bond is actually inseparable at this point. It's actually kind of cool in a way to see this actual kind of bond just grow and actually become this kind of nice little thing to actually kind of see happen. And it makes you just really happy to see it happen, because he's a character that actually needs someone at this point. I said during the previous streams, he's a character that very much needs people in his life to actually kind of make him feel better, because he actually has lost a lot of people, especially his best friend as well. It's one of those things actually kind of nice, actually kind of see AJ just be that character. I mean, I thought to myself he'd be that character. It's actually kind of horrible when he actually says to himself, I'm no use here, because when you think about it, physically, possibly, maybe he might not be very useful, but granted, he's actually proved himself to be capable of certain things. Especially that section with Lee as well, last episode before. So it's one of those ones that makes you wonder, why does he always say that? But emotionally, he's very vital to the whole entire show. He's the kind of emotional backbone of the whole entire show. He doesn't give himself enough credit, really, when you think about it. He just kind of puts himself down all the time, and it's kind of like, don't do that, because you do so much more than what you actually do in theory say. You're a character who's actually kind of mended someone's broken heart at this point. So don't ever say that, because you're very vital to this show in theory, AG. It's one of those things. It kind of makes you go, Christ, dude, just think good thoughts about yourself once in a while, because you do in theory do a lot for the show. You don't kind of you're not wasted. You're not a wasted character. You're very much a character I would actually kind of want to see for the whole entire show. I actually quite like that. I even like the fact that during the episode itself, Ash kind of goes, I wouldn't want you to go back to Japan anyway, because I'd be worrying sick about you all the time. It's one of those things that kind of makes you then wonder. My throat was a bit dry just then. It kind of makes you then wonder, my whole entire theory about him going back to Japan was actually kind of right in the end. The fact is that if he went back to Japan, would he be safe? And that kind of scene proved that. I mean, it's one of those scenes that kind of strengthens their relationship, but also then proves this whole entire idea, whether or not AJ would be safe in Japan on his own. It's one of those things that is quite neat to actually kind of bring that whole entire aspect, because it was kind of very vital to the whole entirety of his character, and it's actually kind of nice to actually kind of ended that on a really cathartic note. So yeah, I mean, the main takeaways about this whole entire episode is what's going to happen with this mystery assassin character. What's going to happen now, we don't know, but he does seem to be quite the adversary for Ash, really, when you think about it. Especially more so now that he's a sniper expert as well, which actually makes you kind of go, oh crap, he doesn't really have quite the advantage of everyone else. So it's one of those things you kind of wonder what in theory could happen at that point. Could he in theory take down AJ? You just don't know. Could he in theory take down Ash? You just don't know. It's one of those things that's just it's scary at this point very much when you think about it. You have Lee, you have Dino, now you have this mystery assassin. So we'll have to wait and see what actually does in 3 happen with these characters, or whether or not actually does in 3 lead to anywhere. Hopefully it does. I know it will. I want to see where it all leads towards. So yeah, that is me done for today. So actually, as always, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, then do leave that good old follow on Twitch, because indeed, there's something quite a bit. And if you've enjoyed it here on YouTube and you do want to leave a like, then do leave a like, because indeed, it does help me quite a bit. And if you've enjoyed it here on YouTube and you do want to stay a bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed, it does help me quite a bit. And if you want to stay a little bit longer after that point, then do in theory leave a follow on Twitter, because indeed, it does something quite a bit. Actually, know when these streams go live, and other streams I do as well. And also, if you actually have enjoyed it here on YouTube, but you want to stay a little bit longer, don't have Twitter, I do in free have a Discord server as well, which does in free tell you when these streams go live, and these streams I do as well. But until next time, episode 18 of Banana Fish, I will see you guys later. Bye for now.